It is August 19th, 2020. We're on the rooftop of the property located at 1553 San Altos Place in Lemon Grove, California, 91945. So we have two bathrooms that are back to back. So we have this 3-inch original cast iron vent that we're going to use as access. We did not see any clean outs on the property anywhere. So this will lead directly into the beginning of the main sewer. So this is original cast iron. You can see a T-junction right there on the left. That picks up the other vent. And then there's another one on the right-hand side that picks up the other vent. So we have the tub shower and then the lavatory sinks. So that's for all the vents. Everything's sharing one venting system. And right here we have where the toilet is dumping into the system here on this little turn we're about to come up on. And you can see we have a little bit of debris on our line right there from making that transition. So we're going to go ahead and pause the video for 1 second while we go ahead and flush one of the toilets. So go ahead and rinse that off. Okay, so we flushed the hall bath toilet one time. And so we're now going to cross this horizontal line now that we have a clear view. So you can see a little bit of hair and debris just hanging off the line right here from where the tub and shower dump into the line. That's typical. This 3-inch cast iron looks good so far. So you can see a little bit of buildup right here at this T-junction. This is going to be typical also, again, where the smaller pipes dump and connect into the system. So it's still all original cast iron, but nice and open. There's very little or minimal deposits and scale that are lining the bottom and side walls of the pipe here. Overall, it's nice and mostly open and circular. Some cast iron, as it gets older, will get kind of flat on the bottom with that buildup and debris that scales onto the walls of the pipe. Couple little mounds right there, but it's really negligible. The house is occupied right now, so we know that it's getting a lot of paper and feces and other debris. So on the very small mounds, if there was an issue, we'd see a lot of things collected around there. On little areas, you'll see these little miniature pockets of water, and again, that happens right here where you can see where it's kind of going up and around, some small buildup that's on the pipe, but it's not a condition that needs to be snaked or hydrojetted or cleaned at this point. Still looks in very good condition. It's very minimal. Looks like a little wipe there on the left-hand side of the pipe there. Again, even the wipes that do say flushable, we do not recommend you put down the pipe. They do not dissolve or break apart like toilet paper does. That's why no other product should be going down a line. Just little chunks of debris here and there, but again, it's very minimal. It's nothing that requires any type of cleaning. It's nothing that's causing any buildup. A little bit of paper right there that just flushed all the way out of the system. Again, little miniature pool of water right here, just going over this little miniature buildup that's on the pipe there. Okay, here we have the original clean out right here. So you can see that is a T-junction on the very top of the pipe right there. So that should be what we call the property line clean out. Typically that's going to be anywhere from 2 to 5 feet in front of the city sidewalk, and it's an original access that was used by the home builder to test the system. We'd actually plug the pipe off at that T and then fill the system up with water to ensure that it was holding no leaks anywhere, both the drain and vent pipes and sewer line. So we'll locate where this is at on the property, just so that if the homeowner ever needed to expose that, you'd know where the pipe was, how deep it was, and you'd have at least this one access point. Now this T only does allow you to go from this point farther out, so you'd have to put double sweeps on to clean in both directions, but we will locate that. And then right here you can see there's a change in direction, so that's usually where this property line clean out is used a T, and it makes a vertical downturn. So basically now we're going down at a 45-degree angle in the cast iron pipe right here. And then usually at the bottom of this is going to be another corrected 45, where it usually transitions into clay pipe, unless the city has done some relining or replacement. So you can see right there we are in clay pipe. So this is now 4-inch clay pipe. So we went from the 3-inch cast iron to 4-inch clay. So on the top of the pipe right there, we've got some very small root intrusions. We're going to take a small photo of that. So hanging from the top of the pipe, there are some very small roots intruding on the clay hub. So that's the one issue with clay pipe, is that it lasts forever and it stays smooth on the inside, unlike cast iron. But unfortunately, it comes in very short 4-foot sections or less, and it's just pushed together with a grease or lubricated up black seal. So it is very susceptible to letting roots get in, because moisture gets by it very easily as well. So we have that one very small root intrusion here. Here's our next junction right here, a few feet away. That one is clean. Next junction here, that's clean, no roots. Next junction here, clean, no roots. A little bit of debris at the bottom of the pipe grabbing our camera lens there. Next junction is clean, no roots. Next junction there, clean, no roots. Next junction there, clean. Little debris on the bottom right, but that does not look like roots intruding there. And then right here is our turn and our sweep, and here's the end of this house's lateral where it's dumping into the city. So here from the vent, we're about 95 feet out, and we're dumping into the large pipe right here, the clay in the middle of the street. So we're going to go ahead and pull back. We'll keep recording. We're going to go ahead and pull back on the line now, and we're going to pull back to that first and only very small root intrusion. So for the roots intruding, there is a foaming chemical treatment that you can use called Robic Foaming Root Killer. They sell it at Home Depot, Lowe's, or online at Amazon or Walmart. And it's a powder that you mix into a bucket and you pour down either the toilet or the vent here on the roof, since there's no clean out access. And one little bottle, it treats 25 feet of pipe. It's a 1-pound bottle that costs right around $20. So for the distance that we're out, you'd have to pour down about 4 bottles, 3 to 4 bottles to get to the roots. And so they're very small though at this time, so really wouldn't probably be needed exactly right now. And again, the roots can grow from trees from hundreds of yards away, so even though there's no exact trees right here in this front yard, they'll come from all different directions. Mother Nature is very strong, and there's always almost like an animal looking for food and water. So again, there's just those very small ones right there at the top of the pipe. It's very, very tiny, but we'll go ahead and mark those. They're probably just at the edge of the sidewalk, close to it, because again, as we back up here, we start coming up this 45-degree pipe. And then here's our transition, and here's this property line clean out. So we're going to go ahead and move to this clean out area. We're going to pause and we're going to locate that so that we know where it's at on the property and how deep it is, because since there is this very small root intrusion, at some point in time it would be recommended to expose this and bring this to surface so that you could do the chemical treatment from there, which would mean you'd only need 1 bottle, and you make sure you get the treatment done really well. And then also the line can just be maintained then with snaking, chain knocking, or hydrojetting if the roots ever got bigger that you needed to clean them up and out. So we're going to leave our camera back up here for a second. We just want to make sure we're exact right spot here. It's right at the turn before it goes down. So we're going to park our camera right here. We're going to go ahead and pause and locate. Okay, so we have gone ahead and located and marked with the green flag this property line clean out right here. Not brought to surface. It's all rocks on the front yard. The pipe is basically 28 inches deep, so it's a little under 2.5 feet deep. and we've marked that. Now this clean out's going to be a few inches above that because it's obviously sticking above the bottom of the pipe, so to dig down is only going to be just a little, barely over 2 feet. It's doubtful they extended any much more than that, but we've got that marked, and we'll bring our camera down to ground level to show that. We're now going to push back forward to the one root intrusion so we can go ahead and just do a little marking. It should be under the sidewalk, but we'll go ahead and kind of just see where that's at specifically, just so we can have it marked off. Got a little bit of debris in our lens here, so we're not really getting a crystal clear view again. Went forward here past the little roots, try to wash that off. It's a lot of gunk on the bottom of the pipe at that turn. So there's this little turn right here with this little transition of the cast iron. So there's the first hub with those little roots. Again, the lens is kind of dirty, but we're not too worried about re-cleaning that. We're going to push right here to where the roots are. We're going to go ahead and pause and locate. Okay, so we've gone ahead and located this tiny little root intrusion in the clay pipe here, and this is right basically in the middle of the sidewalk. It's a little over 4 feet deep. It's right about 50 inches deep, and we've marked it with some chalk. So we'll bring our camera out off the rooftop and down to ground level to show the flag and the chalk markings in case they get lost or taken or removed, to show a record of where those are at. But we are going to go ahead and obviously recommend that that property line clean out be brought to surface so that this tiny root intrusion here can be maintained on the system over time. For even though it's small now, could get worse or it could get more farther down the line. So now we're going to go ahead and pause the video. We're going to use a smaller second camera. We're going to leave this camera inside the system. We're going to go over to the kitchen and laundry and give an attempt to try to go down those vent stacks and into those lines. Okay, so we now have brought a very small camera that's just 5/8 inch in diameter. The first camera we have in the line is 1 inch. This is a small one to try to get through the kitchen. So here's the vent for the kitchen. Now, the vent may not be a straight vertical pipe, and if it isn't, or there's just a lot of buildup from being original cast iron, we may not be able to get down and across much of this line, but we're always going to try to give it an attempt. So here you can see there's a turn on the line already, and so typically the kitchen is over a window open area, and so the vent then has to squirm around from away from that window to then come back in, and that's what it's doing here. So you can see here's a 90 or a 45 fitting for the vent for it to go across, and then it's going to have to go and make another hard turn right here to then go down. So this is a second 90 right here that it's using to get around that window framed out. Used to be to the exterior, now it's to a room addition. So we're not going to be able to get through this. It's 2 90s in a row basically, and it's only small 1.5-inch pipe. And again, so the kitchen is obviously draining and working. The people are using it, and the home inspector, I'm sure, tested it as well. But again, we just thought we'd give it an attempt. We don't always try, but we thought we would. So over time, obviously, any kitchen line, because of the amount of debris, fat and grease and food that goes down, all that particulate, it's going to cause stoppages over time. So I'm sure on occasion you're going to have localized stoppages, just like you would with the shower stall, tub, or sinks. So we can't actually inspect this line, but we know it's obviously functioning right now. We're now going to go ahead and pause and see if we can get down the laundry, because the kitchen typically will run across T or junction into the laundry, then they become one drain pipe and then go into the main. So we'll see if maybe we can get from the laundry out into the main junction from there. Okay, so it's kind of hard to see, but right in the middle of the screen is the vent flashing and tube coming out of the rooftop that we just tried for the kitchen. And as we pan across here, there is the vent piece for the water heater, and here's our laundry vent stack. And here you can see is the first camera that we have right there, just probably about 5-6 feet away from this laundry that's in the main sewer. So we'll go down this, we'll see if this is a straight vertical pipe or not, and if it lets us get into there. Just coupling right there, it looks like. Look like a turn. Alright, so here's our turn right here. So here's we're dropping into the horizontal line that again is the kitchen and laundry shared. Our camera might have flip-flopped there, but you can see actually the pipe is actually open. We'll see, yep, there we go. We just lost our image because the camera lens kind of facing the wrong direction and kind of just contorted our piece there. So sometimes this is what happens, is we'll lose our image. And again, we're basically, we are pushing right now. The screen is black. We're just trying to get into the main sewer. We'll run the kitchen water here shortly to clean this off. But we're pushing as far as we can right now, even though we don't have an image. There's probably a lot of the fat and grease got onto the front of our camera lens, and so it basically doesn't have a view. Now we've pushed out quite a few feet, so we're certain we're into the main sewer right here. So we know the line must be at least open. There's probably just a lot of debris in there. So we're going to pause the video so we can run some water to clean off the camera lens and come back and look at the pipe condition. Okay, we had to pull our camera actually all the way back out and wipe it off with some paper towel. The black sludge on the front of the camera was so intense. We have the toilet flush and all the kitchen water running, and it just wouldn't wash it off. And that's what happens with just kind of some really thick buildup and grease and sludge. So not a big deal. We're going to go back down again, see if we can get through it this time, especially with the water running, if it keeps our camera image clear. So here you can see there's the water running from the kitchen. So again, this is the laundry line we're connecting from, and this is where essentially is the T-junction that also then picks up the kitchen, essentially, at this exact spot. So when we drop into the vertical like that, we're kind of losing our image for a second, but the lens is just immediately dirtied up with all that debris. So we're washing it back and forth right now. You can see we're starting to get some of an image. The black stuff on the left of the screen is just this heavy buildup. So right now we're letting that water keep running, and we're trying to see if it'll wash it all off here, but it's just kind of blocking it up. But we're still pushing forward with the camera right now. So again, we know the line is clear and working. Everything is draining properly out of there. So essentially we're kind of snaking the line by doing this. So we know the line is completely working, completely functional. So what we'll go ahead and do is we'll go ahead and pull back our other camera, which we need to bring down to ground level anyway, and we'll show that this camera is into the main sewer and that everything's draining out. So we're going to pause and switch cameras. Okay, so we're pulling back the first camera. We're in the main sewer, the horizontal line. We're going to pull back rapidly here because we've already seen all this and there's no issues. We're just going to pull back. The water's still running through the kitchen. Oh, there you go. And there's our camera. As we pull back here, you see there's our camera spring, and there's the orange-red push rod laying off to the side there. So again, we knew we pushed into the main quite a few feet. We just wanted to show proof that it's all intact. So the cast iron's not broken underground for the laundry and the kitchen, at least from the laundry point over, but the kitchen sink's running, so we know it's all connected and working properly. So you can see we pushed in quite a few feet. There's the T-junction right there where all that heavy buildup was on the line, that white debris. That's where it vertically drops in, and so that is all the kitchen and laundry debris. So we'll just back up on the system here. So everything basically is functioning perfect. We don't see any issues with any of the cast iron piping, and so we'll move down to ground level here, wipe off our camera lens, and we'll go down and show the markings for the clean out and the small root intrusion at the front of the house. Okay, so move down to ground level here. So again, we wanted to go ahead and show this flag that we have marked here. It's basically 2 feet in front of the sidewalk, and you can see as it's marked here, clean out 28 inches deep. So that's the bottom of the pipe. Clean out is slightly less than that. And so that's where it can be dug up and exposed, we recommend, so you can go ahead and maintain this very small root intrusion, which we have marked right here. As you can see with the circle with the X in it, that is the spot, with R standing for roots, and 50 inches above it. So that's the path of the pipe, across that little line, and then the circle is where that little bit of roots are intruding there in that one clay hub. So by putting in that clean out right here a few feet away, and the vertical, the horizontal pipe leading to then the vertical and then across to this clay, it can be easily maintained. And so that concludes the recording for this property.